Hi, my name is Michael Wing. I'm Global Vice President of Sales for EMC's Emerging Technology Products Division. EMC has been the thought leader around flash technologies since 2008. And today, it marks an important milestone for our company as we introduce XtremIO, an all-flash, purpose-built storage array built from the ground up with the idea of random access media in mind. We're here with 4 of our key business partners around the globe to help us introduce this new product line. We have Bill McGloin from Computer Center, we have Brad Maltz from Lumenate, we have Stephen Johnston from Navasco, and Bhavani Amirthalingam from WWT. Brad, tell us a little bit about your company.
So Luminate's a technical consulting organization that's focused on architecture, deployment, and management. We really are focused around 4 key areas, which are the data center, security, cloud, and the end user experience.
Brad, how do you view things from Luminate's perspective?
So flash has really just been the new technology that came out a few years ago that's just made huge strides in the industry. What it's really done for people is given them the ability to move the bottleneck up out of the storage array and up into higher levels of the system, such as the CPU and memory. In doing that, what's happened is the disk array on the back end now is basically allowing you to run any type of workload on a much smaller set of spindles. And that's really because of the IOP discussion that happens within the actual storage array. When the time came for me to evaluate all the different players in the market space, I was really looking for a few different key factors. Innovation within the space was very huge for me. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just going with any standard storage array that has flash in it, because that's traditionally what most of the vendors are doing now. What I really wanted to make sure is that it had the feature sets, the innovation, and the support model behind it that I can trust to give the solution out to my customer base.
That's fantastic, Brad. And it's not as if you guys just heard about the technology or listened to a couple of PowerPoints. You guys really had hands-on experience with the platform. Tell us about that and how it's impacted proof of concepts that you've worked on and things you've done in your own lab.
Yeah, so the Alpha box was actually in our lab from day one, and what we've been able to do with that is we've actually been able to do a lot of proof of concepts with our customers as well as our own internal testing. And what the box has really done for us is been able to show us that we can scale VDI infrastructures as well as some OLTP workloads in the same infrastructure at the same time. And that key factor is actually an important one because a lot of boxes that are coming out now that are in the flash space are really focused on one area. Luckily, XtremIO is actually not just helping one area, but multiple areas, and that's really where the Alpha Box and the POCs are helping us.
Brad, anything you'd like to add?
The majority of our discussions around the XtremIO box really have focused on VDI. Many of them have gone down the OLTP road, but the majority with the VDI space, really what they've needed is something that scales. We have a lot of customers that have VDI deployments that are over 6,000 to 10,000 desktops. And when you start getting over 1,000 to 2,000 desktops, you need the performance in a small footprint to be able to handle that workload. Now, unfortunately, within the end user computing space, a lot of organizations aren't ready to go to the full-blown optimized environment. So what they've needed is they need to be able to handle traditional persistent desktops mixed with some of those optimizations, and that's really what XtremIO has delivered. So EMC has been a value partner of Luminate's for approximately 12 or 13 years at minimum. And what we've really been able to do with EMC is to grow that partnership to the point that we trust EMC when we actually see a technology come out from them. We know that it's been put through QA and testing and that it's been thought about how it's going to be delivered to market as well as how they're going to support their customers. And anytime that a product is delivered to market, if it's not meeting those criteria, then you're really going to have a lot of issues in the long run.
Brad, can you add to that?
So XtremIO is another module within a larger solution set for us. Whenever Luminate works with a customer, that customer is really the focus of a consultative engagement. It's not really about a box meeting a requirement. It's about a solution solving a problem. And when that solution actually solves a problem with XtremIO in it, then that customer is getting some of the best-of-breed flash technology out there.
Luminate was unique in that they were really one of the early adopters of XtremIO. You mentioned that you were part of the Alpha program. And just tell us what the initial impact was when the system arrived in your data center, how challenging it was to implement, if at all, and just give us the initial experience. What happened then?
So I have to say XtremIO definitely one of the easiest systems I've ever implemented in the lab. And when my consultants actually worked with the EMC engineers that came on site, I think it took approximately 1 hour to get everything up and running in the data center with the Alpha box. And that's something to be said. Usually when it's in early stages, it takes a little while to tweak and tune and get it working. As soon as we got it stood up, within a day or two, we were then testing a ton of VDI instances on that same box in our data center, and we really didn't have to do anything to manage the box. And working with the MC to get that done was it was the easiest thing we've actually had to do with the MC.
That's great. And talking about business problems and VDI in particular, what specifically do you think that Lumenate and partnered with EMC and XtremIO, do you think we can really solve within a customer's environment?
What we can help customers do is a few different things. First of all, reducing footprint for high-performing applications is huge. In the past, we've had to sell traditional storage arrays that have a ton of disks inside of them. And those arrays really had that many disks because they had to meet the performance requirements. Now that applications are getting faster due to CPU and memory getting faster out there, we need to make sure the storage is keeping up. And XtremIO is helping minimize the footprint, which helps keep the data center green, and also minimizes costs on the back end to meet those high performance needs.
That's great. And Brad, tell us a bit about how EMC and the technology around XtremIO, how we've been able to partner with your own technical resources to make sure that they're able to go into customer environments and really help solve those challenging problems.
That's one of the great things about the XtremIO organization within EMC. The organization's actually, it's one of the best I've worked with, all the way from the CTO all the way down to the field people. The smartest people out there that you can walk in front of any customer and they can have an open discussion about flash technology, and not just XtremIO, but how in general the market is moving with these new technologies.
So in closing, I'd really like to thank Bill McGloin from Computer Center, Brad Maltz from Lumenate, Stephen Johnston from Novisco, and Bhavani Amirthalingam from WWT. As mentioned earlier, today marks an important milestone for EMC, our business partners, and more importantly with our customers with the launch of XtremIO. We're very excited about this time in our business, and for anybody that is interested, please click on the link down below to find the nearest business partner in your region. Thank you so much for joining us today.